National Guard. Staff Sergeant Tom Hoy, Gunnery Sergeant, Charlie Battery, 218th Field Artillery Battalion, Oregon Army National Guard. Staff Sergeant Brian Tunks, United States Marine Corps. Specialist Cole Nelson, Charlie Battery, 218th Field Artillery Battalion, Oregon Army National Guard. Mr. John Joseph, United States Navy, retired. I'd also like to extend a special welcome to Specialist Ehrlich's wife, Rebecca, his mother, Lauren, his sister, Chloe, and all friends and family attending in person and virtually. We are pleased that you could join us for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the co-host for today's ceremony, Sergeant First Class Tara Eilers.
Good afternoon, everyone. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, soldiers, leaders, and everyone watching virtually today. Before I begin, I would like to thank some people who went above and beyond to help make today possible. To the Oregon Army National Guard, especially to Max's Guard's family, the soldiers and leaders of the 2 and 218th Field Artillery Battalion, and the Oregon Army National Guard G1 Sergeant Major Adrian Gonzalez, to Mr. Gregory Hefner and Command Sergeant Major John Raines of the National Guard Bureau, and a very special thanks to the soldiers and leaders of the Illinois Army National Guard, particularly Sergeant First Class Haley Westart and Major Brian Fox, who went above and beyond to make today happen. It is truly a privilege to serve alongside all of you. I would also like to thank Specialist Ehrlich's family, Rebecca, Chloe, and especially his mom, Lauren, who has been in cahoots with me for the past couple of weeks. Max's success in the military is also due to the support you have provided. Thank you for your sacrifice and for allowing him to serve. It is a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to help mark this major milestone for Specialist Ehrlich and his family. As our MC mentioned, my name is Sergeant First Class Tara Eilers. I am currently assigned to the National Guard Bureau in Arlington, Virginia, but the reason that I am standing here today is because I have the honor of being Specialist Ehrlich's recruiter. While I have not the authority to recount what Max has done since he has become a soldier, I do have the honor to tell the story of how he became one. When I first met Max, I was recruiting in Portland, Oregon during the height of the George Floyd riots, an increase in political unrest due to the 2020 presidential election, and the onset of a global pandemic. Portland is one of those US cities that even if you've never visited, you've probably heard something about it. Portland has a reputation of being a little alternative, left-wing, weird, hipsterish, and for the most part, those stereotypes are true, and it's probably a reason I loved living there. But needless to say, most young Portlanders were headed to the picket lines and not lining up outside my office. So Specialist Ehrlich was a unicorn. It is almost dishonest to say that I recruited Max because that would imply that I actually talked him into joining the Guard when in fact his mind was already made up. I would actually say I was less of your recruiter and more of your administrative assistant. He already had senior NCOs working for him before he even had a uniform on. Apart from a couple of traffic tickets and some visible tattoos that required a minor waiver, he was a recruiter's dream, like chef's kiss dream. He had a clean bill of health, met height and weight standards, scored high on the ASVAB, and was excited and eager to join. He was positive, patient, punctual for appointments, responsible, and communicative. He made my job really, really easy. We all joined the Army for something, whether that was for a bonus, to pay for college, gain job experience, or find a sense of purpose. But Max was different. He was a little bit older, had a degree from a prestigious school, a great paying job with benefits, a strong support system of family and friends, and had already lived a lifetime full of amazing adventures and experiences. He didn't want or need anything from the Guard. He just wanted to be a soldier, and he possessed an inherent need to serve our country. In my line of business today, that has become extremely rare. Max always wanted to be a soldier, much to his mother's dismay. Like most moms, she wanted him to go straight to college and thought the military would deter him. Lauren told me a story last night. Yes, Max, I was drinking wine with your mom last night. About how Max really wanted to go to public high school instead of the private one she had enrolled him in. She made a deal with him that if he got all straight A's for the rest of the year, she would let him go, thinking that would deter him. However, that did not deter him, and he made all A's, and she had to follow through on her word. When they met with a guidance counselor at the new public high school, the first thing out of the guidance counselor's mouth was, and I can't do this accent the way you did it, but, "So what's next?" the military, ROTC. Lauren said she almost jumped across the desk and strangled her. But here we are, Lauren, and you both got your wish. Similarly, because Max had his college degree, I had dreams of him going to OCS, even though he wanted to go into the artillery. And although I did get him to enlist under the OCS option, here we are, promoting you to sergeant in the field artillery. Lesson learned, Max always gets what he wants. When you think of someone who says they always dreamed of being a soldier, you wouldn't think of someone who outwardly looks like Max, especially if you met him back on the street in 2020. He kind of did fit that Portland hipster vibe. He was a little bit quirky, somewhat sensitive in the way that he cares immensely about his passions and his people. He was a cat dad, 2 of them. Worked for a beer company, sported an extremely cool mustache, which you see he has not lost, and was covered in countless tattoos. In fact, the longest part of preparing his enlistment packet was the day that we had to annotate, describe, and explain every tattoo on his body, and you all can't see them right now, but there are many. Talk about a way to get to know someone. Outward appearances aside, Max might not have looked the part back then, but he has always possessed the characteristics of a soldier. He is loyal, kind, motivated, hardworking, empathetic, trustworthy, and honest. Above all, Max is authentic. He knows who he is, he likes who he is, and he is comfortable and confident with who he is. I have been in the Army for over 20 years, and I think it took me about a decade to learn what Max knew on day one. To be the best version of yourself as a soldier, you have to know who you are and be the best version of yourself as a civilian. It is easy to mold someone into a soldier, to cut their hair, shave their faces, teach them how to march. But the latter is the harder. You can't teach character or hang it around someone's neck. As leaders, we must model good character, but it's truly on the individual to build it within themselves. This is where Max has always been different and why I've always been confident in his ability to excel in this profession. Leadership and character go hand in hand. Leadership is the ability to inspire, motivate, and guide others towards a common goal. A leader must be confident, assertive, ready to take charge, but most importantly, serve others. It takes vision, determination, the willingness to take risk, and courage. Max, when I think of the journey you've been on over the last few months, a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. kept popping into my head. It says, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Soldiers will always remember their recruiters. However, it is not always the other way around. However, Max, you have taught me lessons through your positivity, humility, determination, courage, and resilience that will constantly inspire me, and I will never forget them. Thank you for the impact that you have made on my life. I am so proud to be with you today. Ladies and gentlemen, the promotion that you are about to witness is not only a testament to Max's military acumen and professionalism, but to his outstanding character. Let's promote this awesome soldier and human being.